It's official. Jaden O'Neal has officially decommitted. Late last night, after that Thunder loss, a lot of you all probably went to sleep, but you probably saw all this morning. Jaden O'Neal is no longer committed to Oklahoma. He's reopening his recruitment, in which it looks like after coming off of a official visit at Florida State, it's probably going to end up with the Seminoles. So let's dive into that. Let's talk about some of the facts, and I'll even share a couple of things I actually got from his father when we talked a couple of weeks back about how the recruitment was going and some of the things I feel like went down with Oklahoma. And also, what's next? So let's dive into that. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank you for pulling up to the channel. So this is definitely an unfortunate situation. As you can see, Jaden O'Neal drops a letter to everybody and has decommitted from Oklahoma. And if y'all know, I've covered Jaden well. I've had him on the show a couple of times, and he's been one of my favorite recruits to keep up with and just chat with or whatnot. Great young man. Enjoy his father. Enjoy everything about him. And it's kind of sad to see that this era has ended. Well, overall, it kind of felt like it was going this direction anyway. I've always been in the camp of if Oklahoma can find a way to mend the relationship, which was starting to get rocky, they could have probably won his services for at least a year with another quarterback that they're going after, and then have a good competition and see who wins it out. Well, it sounds like the O'Neals, after their Florida State visit, had a conversation with General Manager Jim Nagy, and a decision was made to go ahead and move on. And so he thanked, those that truly committed him, those that truly recruited him to Oklahoma, Seth Luttrell, Jack Lowry, Ty Hatch, all those coaches who are actually no longer here at Oklahoma. And so initially when Jaden was coming in, he was the only option. Number one, it was like him, and it was Darion Coleman, who ended up committing to Miami, which was a very interesting one. And actually, Parker Thune put together a whole timeline. Go check it out over at Rivals, which was really good. But I had a feeling that Jaden was eventually going to move on from Oklahoma. A few weeks back when me and his dad had a conversation, and what I'm allowed to share is what I talked to his dad as well as his trainer, Coach OJ, and one of the big things for them was when Ben Arbuckle got hired, they didn't really hear from him for a few weeks, which they understood. He had to go through compliance, make sure thing was, everything was all kosher before he went in and had the conversations. And then it just, the relationship wasn't fully there because then Ben went and offered Bo Bentley down out of Salina, Texas, which a lot of you are very interested in Oklahoma landing. There's some news on that. I'll talk about that on the other side. But the relationship with Brent Venables, Todd Bates, a lot of the coaches on staff, Emmett Jones, heck, they all went out and saw him, Joe John Finley. They went in person to go see Jaden, in which his dad, they posted a picture of them visiting. I think Brandon Drum also posted it on social media. And they went out and they chopped it up, had a good conversation. They put everything out there. Ben Arbuckle kind of laid his cards on the table and explained, his side of things, and, as a man, fell on the sword and told him that, we're going to work on trying to make things better. Well, that sounds all good and great, but Oklahoma still is in pursuit for, I believe, 2 quarterbacks. I actually expect Oklahoma to take 2 quarterbacks in this class. You got Mateer, and you got to wait to see if he's going to be back for another year. If he has a breakout, he may not come back. Michael Hawkins is still there. You got Jet New. Then you bring in some transfer quarterbacks. Oklahoma's starting to get some of the arms they need to go forward. And so for Jaden, the question was, is he going to get a fair shake as a second quarterback in this class when the offensive coordinator had a particular quarterback they wanted to go after? And y'all have heard me do the comparisons here. I've talked about Jaden, reminds me kind of his game is similar to Cam Ward. He can move. He's not a full-fledged statue, but he doesn't run a lot. He more so scrambles around and he finds the open receiver and makes the throw. Similar to Cam Ward, but Cam did a little bit more running in comparison. Whereas John Mateer runs, like design runs. He's going to take the handoff and he's going to bounce. And Bo Bentley is built in that similar cloth down there in Texas. So the first thing was, he's not someone that would fit the scheme of Ben Arbuckle, when Cam Ward did just fine. But I think the bigger thing here is that Ben has an idea of what he feels like would work in the SEC and work for the Oklahoma Sooners. He has an idea of what he thinks is what needs to be done in order to be successful. And so because of that, unfortunately, Jaden O'Neal does not fall in that purview of what he's looking to do. He doesn't fall into the script of what Ben Arbuckle thinks he would like to do here in the SEC. And so Jaden now is no longer committed to Oklahoma. Saddens me. I wish him all the best because, like I said, he's been great coming on here. He's talked about the relationships. He talked about everything. And for him, he was locked in even when Seth Luttrell got let go. But the other thing to remember, and me and John talked about this on Locked On Sooners. If you didn't check it out, feel free. But the one thing to keep in mind is if you're going to hire an elite offensive coordinator, especially as a defensive coach, there's a very slim chance you're going to get somebody that you truly want that's not going to want to have a voice into what quarterback they bring in and have run their offense. Like I said, it's nothing against Jaden. It feels like Ben Arbuckle believes that the more running type quarterbacks are going to be better for his system. So he needs a particular type to be successful in the SEC. There's also the chance that, you got to see how long it's going to be for Ben Arbuckle to even be at Oklahoma. If he sees success over the next couple of years, he's probably going to be poached for a head coaching job somewhere. We'll see. We'll see how lucky we get in that capacity. So, sucks to see Jaden is out, but hey, put your head down, get back to recruiting. Let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure y'all wish him well because, this was just a bad situation. He said all the right things and he was locked in from jump, but it doesn't feel like Oklahoma was as locked in on him as he was to them. But from there, Oklahoma is working their tails off to get Bo Bentley back on campus. There was a report that came out from Eli Letterman over there at ESPN, and he pointed out that in the backdrops that sources are telling ESPN that the Sooners are efforting heavily to get Bo Bentley back on campus this weekend. Champion Barbecue Weekend is this weekend. I'm going to drop a video tonight with my list of all the social media posts that I've seen and people that I feel like is going to show up and who's not going to show up. And we'll see if, what actually happens. But they're trying to get Bo Bentley back on campus. They get Bo Bentley back on campus. That obviously means something big for the Sooners. And that probably means that the Sooners are probably going to seal the deal. This is the weekend to do it. This is the opportunity to do it. And we know Bo's probably going to want to do something big and spectacular if he's that type of guy. Or he may just walk in and say, hey, I'm in. Let's go ahead and put a graphic out there. We'll see. But it's going to be a good weekend for the Sooners. A lot of players are going to be in town. Sooners already started to get some predictions or whatnot. The Covered Wagons recruiting has posted a couple things, so there's a few CBs and predictions dropping for certain players. We'll talk about that at the Champion Barbecue video later this evening, so make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, and the bell notification so you don't miss any future videos. And we're going to get back on track. We're about to head into July, so it's time to get heavy on the content. We'll be breaking down the positions once again. We'll look at going into fall camp. We'll look at the schedule. We'll look at all of that, like me and Coop always do. But we should be around for Sunday after Champ U. Hopefully, good things happen. Hopefully, we get some commitments and we can talk about it. So make sure you stick around. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. New to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5. And we'll chop it up next 24 hours. Peace.